Hello guys, welcome to Banter Blitz with me, International Master Andrey Ostrovskiy. Just as usual, I'm going to play several games against you and analyze everything that is happening on the board, uh, add in some sort of post-mortem just to uh, make you feel more aware of your mistakes, if there are any, of course. We'll see. So nothing is gonna change this time. I mean, compared to previous episodes. The only difference I have noticed is that there are not so many challenges. Probably everyone is preparing for Christmas stuff. I don't know. But let's see. Maybe some other guys will come a bit later. For now, I don't see so many challenges, which means there will be no problems for me to pick one. Oh, by the way, there are already three. Okay, so let's have a look if I have anyone I haven't played before. Well, not really. By the way, I'm going to accept challenges only from premium users. So Milux, sorry, but I have to decline your challenge. So we have Super Bohemio and Friedel. Let's start with Friedel because we have not played for a long time. So here we go. All right, so everything looks fine. And let's go. E4, C5, knight to F3. So Sicilian defense. And which line? Okay, so not clear for now. It can be Najdorf, can be anything. And b5, immediately here. Well, I'm not sure it's a good idea because we can try something like bishop to f3 now, creating sort of an e5. Well, maybe it's playable for black, but now I believe the rook will be... Oh, forgot about that. Simple e5 here. I'm stupid, guys. I'm just not not in my best shape for sure. So I confuse it to completely different line when the pawn is on e6 and white's pawn is on f4. It's a different situation. So after b5, probably the best move could have been a4 undermining it, and after b4, knight to d5, something like that. Have no idea. So let's try to justify the position of the bishop on f3. So let's put the knight on f5 then. So the question to challenge with 5 or 3 minutes. So 5 minutes is preferable because in that case I have a bit more time to explain the stuff, and I'm here exactly for that. I think after bishop b6, black wants to play b4, and if I play knight d5, there is knight takes d5, e d5, and then bishop takes f5, right? So there are two options: just to play a3, which I don't really like because it's a waste of time, or just put my knight on e3. Another option could be to support it with the g4. Also an interesting option, just to make sure it's protected. But then let's say g4, b4, and if I play knight d5, knight d5, e d5, bishop f5, gf5, I don't really like that pawn structure. Feels a bit strange to me to play like that. Alright, so let's spend this move on a3, stopping pawn b5 from going to b4 for now. h5 stops me from playing g4, but I don't know if I was going to. Let's put the bishop on g5. I think the main drawback behind h5 move is that now g5 is simple to occupy and stay there for longer compared to the situation when the pawn is on h7, being able to attack the bishop, for example, with the h6. And now knight on f6 is so vulnerable, but I don't think I have a direct tactics or something, so let's just step back to e3, intending to occupy d5. Everything looks pretty logical, right, from white's perspective here. I have a feeling. So now just knight d5, right? It's a possibility. Yeah, let's put the knight on d5. Why not? So bishop d5, I can take with the knight. After bishop e7, Isn't it dangerous for black to play like that? I mean, yes, I understand I give up my super centralized knight for the bishop, which is not necessarily that great, but look at dark squares. They're so weak. I mean, there should be something like direct attack against d6. It should be dangerous for black. Alright, so just castling or rook to d1. I don't think I have to castle here. Castle queenside, I mean. Okay, so d6 is protected, for sure. But what about this knight on f6? It's a terrible piece, I guess. So everything I need here is just to prepare f4. And we'll be winning position for white, I think. Can I do this right now? Like bishop e2 and then f4? Let's calculate d5. So bishop e2, d5, ed5, knight e5, knight e5, bishop d5. Well, maybe black is holding there. What else can be done here? Just g3, bishop g2, and then f4. Also an option. Looks a bit ugly to me, but maybe it's fine. Maybe it's a way to go. Let's try it. Bishop there. Okay, I'll just go away. Bishop e6. So black is gradually getting rid of the pin, right? We should do something. Maybe knight d5, knight d5, ed5, something like that. And then queen can go to f5. I don't like it. What else can we do here? Something like queen e3, knight to c4, queen to c1 with the idea of b3. Probably something like that. Yeah. Let's try it. Oh, this way. Passive, but it serves the goal, right? So there is no longer pin on that diagonal. Okay. For some reason, position was not so simple as I expected. Maybe I made several mistakes. I don't know. Right now, I have to do something, and rather quickly because I have only 38 seconds on the clock. That's very bad. So knight c4, I always have queen to c1 followed by b3, I think. Just forcing that knight back. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I definitely misplayed the position. It was so good at some point. Now it's no longer that clear. Was doing what here? It's probably too aggressive, but I don't have enough time to calculate this stuff, so let's try it. Knight to c4. Okay, just go away. Okay. So it feels like we're getting somewhere, but again, not so much time on my clock. And that's a big problem. A huge problem even. Only 15 seconds. I think I made a blunder now. Yeah. I've blundered some material. Not the best game to start the show, right? Right. Black, for some reason, didn't take on e4 followed by queen f5, which was basically something to win the piece, I guess. Okay, so what's going on here? I'm going to lose this on time, I think. Yeah, very bad situation for me. What was that? I lost on time already? Oh gosh. That's stupid. I mean, already here in this position, I think I'm easily winning. Maybe not easily, but very close to that. Yeah, there should be something simple. Oh goodness. I thought that queen d5 was the most tested move in this position, just protecting f7, and if I take, for example, there, then knight takes d5, check, king goes to g8, rook g7, king f8. So, in this position, even the material is even at the moment, and my pieces are misplaced a bit. I mean, my king is super ugly, and black has great chances just relocating the knight to g4, let's say, just to create a threat of a checkmate or something. Yeah. At some point, I was winning, I think. I mean, my position looked like absolutely winning strategically. So, for example, here, maybe the best way to play it was like to castle, to go away with the bishop, and then to play f4. Okay? And then, you know, just to open the f file as soon as possible. So this pressure on d6 was not really efficient. Moreover, black had all the resources to prevent the loss of the pawn, right? The only idea behind this queen d2 and rook d1 was actually to deflect the knight. That's what I was trying to do. So when the knight goes away, we can see that knight f6 feels a bit abandoned. Yeah, that was not very good for black in general. But again, since I'm not opening the f file quickly, black is fine even with that. So probably just castling here, then playing quickly bishop e2 and then f4 was the best way for white to play. I believe white should be better here because of, you know, better control over dark squares at least. So black has a lot of dark squared weaknesses all over the board, and there is no dark squared bishop anymore to cover those weaknesses. Yeah, so maybe my play was not that ambitious. So queen d2, rook to d1, castling. Yeah, this g3 was probably another stupid idea, so simple bishop e2 was correct. But I was a bit afraid of d5, which is probably not good for black even. Yes, position is being slightly simplified, but who cares if you have this amazing pin there, and you have a chance still to open the position even more. You have pair of bishops, right? So something like that is absolutely acceptable for white to play. So e5 is under pressure, let's say, and white is going to play f4. Yeah, I believe that bishop e2. I believe that bishop e2 was the right decision in that particular case. Okay, never mind. One more thing, black missed somewhere already in my time trouble. So after I played f4, there was a nice moment to play this. I think after that, white is completely lost. So bishop is heading, rook is heading. There is no way for white to protect both at the moment. c2 is also under pressure, so white's position simply sucks here. All right, thanks for the game. So I lost the very first game, which is pretty annoying, but it's okay. I can live with that, right? So let's continue. Let's have a look if we have some more challenges from people I've never ever played before. Yes, I can see several, so let's accept. So there is a comment, wrong title. Can be, so it's almost Christmas. So not everything is kind of well prepared, I believe. I think I have adjusted the title only for YouTube. Have no idea. So what's going on here? Is it really possible to play like that? Bishop f5. Can I play this move? I mean, Looks natural, right? To attack the bishop and the pawn on b7 simultaneously. I think that black usually tries to play something like c6 prior to developing that bishop. And maybe there is a reason for it. So prom night is here. I see you have turned on the highlights and the sound. Yes, yes, absolutely. What? Okay. Black is definitely misplaying it. Just a drama. Yeah, alright. Nothing to comment here. Just a super blunder, which allowed me to win the game immediately. So, let's have a look. Quinto random. Have never played before. Let's accept the challenge. So the question on YouTube, what do you suggest for 1800s? Just learn chess. Keep on learning chess. There is no, specific suggestion. Everything is individual, depends on your preferences, depends on your current level, because 1800s of one guy and 1800s of another one can be absolutely different 1800s, can be absolutely different styles, psychological preferences, and so on. It's very hard to suggest anything specific unless I know you personally. That's the one thing. And another thing is that on this level, what you really need is vast knowledge and vast experience. So just keep on learning and play as much as possible. And yeah, just surround you with good books, with good coaches, so on and so forth. The Twitch stream title says it's Lifong playing. You might want to change that. Okay. Have no access to that myself, so maybe someone will. Not me for sure. Alright, what's going on here? Let's just go away with the knight. We have Scotch. Knight goes to d2. Alright. So normally I continue with bishop a6 in this case with the idea of exerting pressure on that c4 pawn. And normally we have different options. But this inclusion of the h4 is very smart because bishop may go to h3 attacking my queen when it is on e6, for example. So I'm 1800s as well. I play a lot, but only 5 minutes. Of course, it's not helpful. On your level, I wouldn't play Blitz at all. I would play only longer games, and I would recommend to play tournament games if you really want to, improve, if that's your goal. So what to do now? Let's play a4, just trying to prevent white from playing b3. Okay, white plays b3 anyway. All right. That's interesting. Okay, let's put the queen on b4. That's what I wanted to try. Now I have a threat of queen to c3, let's say. Attacking that rook. Maybe it's not that dangerous for white even. But what I want to do is just to develop my bishop somehow. A dark squared bishop, I mean. The question, which book should I study? There are lots of different books. Try my system of Aaron Nimcovich, for example. One of the good options. So, bishop e7. Castling and castling. Maybe very dangerous for me because my queen may be trapped. My queen may be trapped here at some point. Yeah, white's position is very good actually. I misplayed the opening stage completely. Don't know what to do here. So let's play a3 to prevent white from playing a3 and trapping my queen. And now, not even sure if there is a good move for me. White can simply start the attack on the king side. Okay, let's go away with the rook first, just to make c6, c5 possible, to get rid of the bishop on this diagonal, and probably preparing something more aggressive like d6 or d5 at some point, because this pawn should be somehow eliminated, otherwise I have big problems. White is playing perfect chess. I mean, it's really hard for me to do anything. I have misplayed the opening stage for sure, but white is playing nearly perfect chess. For example, now there is this threat of bishop to c3, trapping my queen again. I don't know, so queen to a5. Bishop c3, then bishop b4 at least. My god, I'm going to lose the second game, I think. Yeah, there are so many people now playing nearly perfect chess. It's really hard to compete. Yeah, position is, yeah, just strategically lost for black, I think. Just strategically lost position. If e6, then f6, but yeah, still. Very bad game. Very bad game. So bishop c8, the idea is that if e6, attacking g7, then I play f6. And if ed7, then bishop d7. So pawn is kind of protected, but the problem is white can take on b6. That is something I missed. And white is winning anyway. Yeah, just lost. Just lost position for black. Okay, so probably the order of moves should be somehow adjusted. I mean, the way I developed my pieces was not correct. But the problem is, I rarely, repeat the opening theory nowadays. I don't do it at all, actually, to be completely honest. And Scotch is one of these openings when you make one tiny mistake, you're just gonna lose the game. All right, queen f4. So what is that? c7 is heading. Okay. Yeah, position is lost. Doesn't matter what I do here. Like, all right. A3 drops. Yeah, nothing to say. Okay, congratulations, Quinto Random. I'm playing nearly perfect chess. It's really, really rare case. Even on the Grandmaster level, I would say. Yeah. After the opening, I would say I couldn't do much in this game. My opponent showed the brilliant conversion of the advantage. I mean, the advantage he or she got after the opening. b5 would be logical here, just to destroy my center. I mean, it would be pretty much in the spirit. But literally anything works here, I believe. That was not necessary even. Okay. So I didn't expect this level from 1500s, to be honest. Oh, that is strange. What's going on? What is this? This is kind of strange decision to me. So now black is not even worse, I believe. That is very strange. Okay. But I have only 2 seconds, so it doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, lost on time, but probably this position is already well, at least it's not lost for black anymore. So several moves at the end of the game was pretty much in the style of 1500s. Before that, everything was like, well, I had no chances, really. So here, this combination of just bringing the queen to c7 was fantastic because, you know, if I don't lose a3 here, anyway, my position is very bad, but after losing a3, it's completely lost, right? So, no chances. Pair of bishops, fantastic passers on the queen side. Yeah, there is no way I can save it somehow. And with this bishop on a7, come on. It's so lost. Yeah, so here just b5. And for black, it's time to resign because there is a sort of b6, b7. And after this move, bishop takes d5. I mean, come on. So if f7 drops, then it's definitely lost. But white started doing something really strange here. So bishop d8, first of all, exchanging this perfect bishop for that knight. I don't think it's good. Then a7, okay, that's fine. White is still winning, I think. But this combination, so to say, what is the point? Just to lose a pawn? Maybe black forgot that I have played h7, h5. I don't know. But this is already good for black. Probably I should have played something else, not d4. d4 is most likely a blunder. I don't know, what is a good move here? Maybe to start with bishop d7 move, right? Just making sure that c6 is not hanging, additionally controlling b5 square. I think gradually trying to achieve something. With such a king, it will be still hard, but I mean, it didn't really matter because I was already like super short in time. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. So what's going on here? All right, never mind. So let's continue. Probably it's time to play one by one, right? So Super Bohemio is here, 2400s. I think we'll see a difference here because Super Bohemio is a definitely 100% human player. And just as usual, I mean, Super Bohemia always plays the same thing, like knight to c3, then sacrifice on e4, and so on. So, let's see. It's the question, do you play in tournaments these days? Well, only in Bundesliga for my team. And it's no longer even the Bundesliga, it's Oberliga, but nevertheless. So I'm playing just this team chess. Don't have much time for, for tournaments. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. You're searching for 2400s. No, I'm not searching for 2400s. Super Bohemia was just the first who challenged me today. So I just came back to normal order of challenges. I mean, we can notice the difference between 1500s, which is nearly perfect, and Super Bohemia, who has much higher rating, but actually have a super positive score against him usually, because as a human being, Super Bohemia tends to make mistakes. So knight goes to f4. So let me remember what I've played against Super Bohemia in this case. Simple knight to d7. I think it's still possible. So this sacrifice on d6 may be very dangerous, though. So let me just capture that knight. I mean, I know it's a bad idea in general to give up your bishop for a knight, but we have sorry, extra pawn, and yeah, our task here is just to neutralize opponent's initiative. But here comes the sacrifice, actually. Yeah, because there was this threat of knight to c7. Okay. It doesn't mean that something is bad for black. Nevertheless, let's just try to find a good square for queen. We'll have two minor pieces for the rook, or maybe one extra minor piece if white decides to take on g7. So I believe we can put our queen on b6 simply, and after knight c7 to play some like king f7, and we're gonna be fine. So king f7, okay, probably takes on a8. We're gonna take there as well, and as I said, two minor pieces for the rook and the pawn, right? So classic material relationship. The question, Mr. Ostrovskiy, what was your rating at the age of 15? At the age of 15, it was almost like around 2400s. I think 2350, maybe 60. I don't remember exactly. So I became an international master at the age of either 16 or 17. Also can't remember. But something like that. If you mean the ELO rating. Okay, so just put the king on g8. I mean, manual castling, right? Our king is safe now, and we can search for more active possibilities if there are any. Light squares look tempting. My queen is somewhat misplaced, so I feel like I should play something like this move. Restoring the harmony, more or less. So main idea being probably to bring the queen to d3, maybe d5, maybe h5, we'll see. But I don't feel like we have any perspectives on dark squares, so I'm trying just to play on dark squares here. So e8 is covered. I don't have to control it. Let's bring the queen here. Bishop e5. Knight to e4 looks good. Right, attacking the queen and the bishop on e5 simultaneously. International master at 16, 17? No, it's not cool. I mean, it's like nothing special. It's not that I was like, you know, started playing chess at some point and then hope at 16 I'm international master. I've been training a lot. That's the thing. I mean, at the age of like 12 or 13, I was more professional in a chess sense compared to me today. So. Okay, that's probably not the right way to play it. First centralization, then b5 or something. So trying to play on light squares still. Not sure if it is a correct decision. Just want to have some objects of attack here. Okay. So let's get closer to those pawns. Again, the time management is somewhat bad. When did you start playing chess? At the age of 5. That's why I'm saying that. To become an international master at 16 or 17 is not a big deal. When you start playing at 5 and then keep on training like every day with coaches and stuff. Okay. The question, what did you help best to become better? Well, continuous training. That's it. Nothing special. Just all the aspects, all the components of the game should be trained regularly. That's it. Alright, so this pawn c5 should be captured. Okay, accomplished. Now a pawn is our main object of attack, right? Let's try to fix it there. That was probably too oh shit, that was just a mistake. Yeah, time trouble is still there. Okay, but we still have some chances, right? Even being the exchange down. Okay. So this is winning, I believe. Yes, and we won the game. What did you train most? Everything, Brom Knight, everything. Openings, middle games, end games, calculation, everything. So if you really want to improve, you should actually deal with everything. There is no thing that you can actually dismiss. Okay? So the question from Kramnik, so maybe it's not the Kramnik, not the question, sorry. Andrey, there were no computer when you became international master, right? No, there were computers, of course, because I'm only 30, so it was like 15 or 14 years ago. Like, there were computers, they were not so super strong at that moment when I became an international master. So there were still these matches, between Kasparov and computers, Kramnik and computers, Topalov versus computers, and so on. But yeah, they were already used in the preparation, but maybe not so heavily like today, for sure. There was still, some room for just normal human preparation without computers and so on. So there are some comments on Twitch, probably some strange attempts to provoke me or something, but go make it to 3,000. I had only 3,100, so I was there at some point, so not really want to repeat it. not really eager to do that. I mean, so I'm pretty fine with my 2800 something. Because there are so many 1500s nowadays that play perfect chess. You lose one game, you lose like 40 or almost 40 rating points. So it's really hard to keep your rating high. All right. What is that background behind you? Yeah, my balcony, my friend. All right, let's go on. Let's just continue and play another game. Feels like the guy I've never played before. And almost 2500s. All right, let's accept the game. Should be interesting. Let's go. And French defense, right? Let's try the advanced variation. So I used to play it when I was a kid. Not doing this anymore, especially in tournament games. So there are ways for black to get very comfortable position, honestly. So especially if black is well prepared, it's really hard to achieve anything. With white here, we can see the idea behind a3, not only to play b4, but also to control b4 square, so that after cd4, there is no knight b4, which might have happened in case of immediate bishop to d3, let's say. Okay, let's develop the pieces. I don't think black's way to play it is the best. Now, for instance, I don't see how black is going to continue the development. If knight goes to f5, I just take it and then play knight e5. And position of the knight on g6 is not ideal because of this. Alright, so black is not against to put the knight on f8. That's surprising to me. Okay, I will even play this move to provoke g6, I believe. And now it's time to castle. Okay. So the question, which book you suggest for improving? I told you that already. My System, written by Aaron Nimcovich. Give it a shot. Knight goes to a7. The idea is probably being to play some like knight b5 or bishop b5. What should be my plan here? I mean, I should play some like bishop g5, exchange that bishop, knight g5, and then just invading through dark squares. The only thing that stops me from doing that is by handing b2, kind of handing. I'm not sure that it is tactically handing if I play bishop to g5, but I would like to protect it, just to eliminate that option for black. Because I don't think I should be in a rush here. So I just protected b2 and now want to play bishop g5. Instead of g6, why not g5? I could have captured that pawn and not even immediately, probably just gradually. Could have been also a big liability for black, answering the question of Kramnik's student. So now, what if I just play bishop a4? Is black going to castle long? It's kind of suicidal, no? But if not, well, even that doesn't help because I want to play queen to b3. And I can play it right now. Yeah. If I'm not completely stupid, this is going to win a piece because knight cannot move. If knight moves, I just take the queen. So we're going to win this game. Okay. Question, how much have you been training in your youth to get the IM title? Well, at some point I started training like 5 hours a day, every day, with my coach, and some hours additionally on my own. So I wasn't super talented. I was just a hard-working guy. That's it. Queen is protected, says Migtal. Not really. If knight goes away, the knight on d7, which protects the queen, will be pinned or will be captured first. And that's it. So game over for black here, basically. So the question, hello, how much club rating do you have? I don't understand what do you mean by club rating. I have ELO rating, FIDE rating, so to say, which is 2400s, not much. I don't even know what is club rating. Sorry for that. The question, why don't you take part in the Banter Blitz Cup? Because I was notified about it too late. It was already like in progress when I first found out that, wow, there is a Banter Blitz Cup. So shit happens, guys. Let's continue. Coach is super expensive on a daily basis. That's true. So I was told once that my system is a book for players like 2000 and more and above, sorry. Would be Gelfand book positional decision making in chess. Perfect. Do you agree? Don't quite understand. So I mean, my system is an amazing book for any level of chess. I mean, for beginners, it will be a nice introduction to positional principles. For, you know, much more experienced players, it will be a nice refresher. Maybe you will find something new for yourself there. For example, I tend to read this book from time to time again, just to, you know, understand some things deeper. And as for positional decision making in chess, from Gelfand, it's already for a much higher level, I think. All right. Okay. So Olaf says, I think my system is for over 1500s. Well, yes, it's not for complete beginners for sure. All right. Anyone can learn something from my system, in my opinion. So the question, do you ever get really drunk and train then? Psychologically speaking, you would be much better when sober. I've done this. No, I never do this. So, in general, I don't work being drunk. Doesn't matter if it is chess or anything else. All right. But sometimes when I'm drunk, I can go to the, I don't know, Chess24 or any other platform and play some Blitz, but that's different, right? The question, are you going to work for Chessable? No, I don't work for, you know, chess platforms. So here in Chess24, I'm kind of freelancer, just content creator. I'm not actually working here. All right, let's continue. Enough for talks. Atlanta Gambit. Let's play. Playing with white pieces again. Let's play e4. Atlanta Gambit, are you there? So the question from Crowning Student, what about Chess Factor then? I'm also not working there. I'm just creating content. So it's different. All right, this is a very funny opening. So first of all, it's classical defense and classical variation, sorry, in Roy Lopez. And this line is super tricky, I believe. So the question, how to play better, what I need to do, reading the books or just practice in real games? Both, actually, both. That's the thing. So getting back to e2, the idea of queen h5 was just to provoke this weakening. By the way, knight takes g6 was not possible because of knight f6 move. And here, I'm just going to... Well, there are two options. The one is just to play bishop g5, knight e2. Another option is to play knight e2 immediately here. Third option is just to play bishop f4. I don't know which one is better. I mean, bishop g5 looks tempting for some reason. Bishop f5, and now knight e2, right? Just keep on developing pieces. And attack this pawn e4, which is vulnerable. Hey, this is not Lifong. Yes, the wrong title on Twitch. Maybe on Facebook as well. I have no idea. On YouTube, it should be right. So answering the question from Chromix, no, they don't have a uniform. It's just my preference there. Excuse me. So black is thinking now. Yeah, there is something to consider, of course. Simply castling now. Okay. Looks very dangerous for black though, but I don't see a clear way to do something with this. So if I play queen c4, there is just king g7. What is next? Kind of don't know. G4 comes to mind at some point. Maybe right now. Let's have a look. G4. And if bishop goes away somewhere, there's knight e4 attacking the knight on f6. Isn't it super bad for black? In g4, bishop will step back to e6, knight e4, bishop to d5. Kind of works for one move, but then knight f6, rook f6, and say castling or something. Should be sort of winning, I think, for whites, or close to that. But anyway, for some reason I want to castle. Bishop h6 first, the suggestion from Prom Knight, then rook e8, and if queen c4, then bishop back to e6. I also looked at that. I mean, I love my bishop on g5 here in this position. So, another interesting question. Just a second. Lost my chat on chess24. Sorry for that. Okay. Would you recommend training a lot to get a strong hobby player, or would you rather concentrate on school? Of course, school. If you want to be a hobby player, then just school. Come on. I've been training a lot because, well, I had a dream of becoming an international master. Of course, it was not my dream. My dream was to become a world champion at some point. And my father also wanted me to become the one. That's why I've been training a lot. But if you are aware of your goals and your goal is just to become a good hobby player, no, just concentrate on school. All right. Who's your favorite chess player? Well, I have several that look good. Rubinstein, for example, one of my favorite players for sure. Karpov, Kasparov, Michael Adams, for example. So g4, bishop g6, it doesn't look very attractive anymore. So what about just an attack? h4 is probably too late for it. Bishop h6 wins the exchange, I guess, right? Yeah, let's go for it. Let's just win the exchange. Maybe not that much. The extra material now looks good. He doesn't realize it's his move, I think. No, I realize it's my move, my friend. I'm just taking my time and speaking to guys in chat, all right? And I have enough time to convert this position, come on. Extra exchange, no compensation whatsoever. But queen c5 was just a pattern move, I think, and I have a feeling that I've blundered a pawn there. Yeah, at some point I definitely blundered a pawn on a2. After knight to b3, I think it was possible to take on a2, right? Yeah. Stupid, but what can I do? As I said, in a very bad shape now. Still good position for white, though. Still very good one. Now we have g-file to attack, which is perfect. What I also like about this position, we can put our queen right in the center somewhere in on e5. It will be just amazing. Maybe we don't even need that, right? So just queen g5 directly attacking g6 looks great. Queen a1, king c2, queen a4, king b1. Checks are over at that moment. And I don't think there will be a chance for black to protect g6 after this. I mean, just 2 checks, but nothing has happened to white. The difference is that now g6 drops. So, didn't quite get this. Queen a1, queen a4. So, yeah. Now the task is just to finish black in this position. Shouldn't be that hard, but yeah, the only concern here is probably the time on the clock. What? No, this simplifies the task for me, of course. Now just extra rook, come on. I will do it, I will manage. I will not even give up that f2 pawn. Okay. So, tricky opening, but at some point the things went pretty simple for white. I'm not sure. Really interesting if it was possible for me just to play g4 immediately after black castled. Maybe I'm missing something, but feels like if bishop takes c5, then I just take there, and this will not really help because queen goes to e3, but then knight goes to d5, right? This may be a problem. So bishop f6 looks better, but then, yeah, just bishop f6, correct. Bishop e2, bishop d8. I have extra material. So this doesn't work. If bishop goes to e6, then maybe simply knight e4. So that's what I was not sure if it will work for me. So takes. But even here, I'm just an exchange up. But in this case, this bishop looks a bit annoying. Maybe it's not a big deal. Have no idea. The way I played was also quite good. Even though I don't win anything with castling, but like long term, black has just too many weaknesses, right? So the question from Dilatation, Andrey, I'm 15 years old and my rating is close to 2,000. I'm very motivated and I daily spend about 2 hours into chess. Do you think I can reach the international master level? It's not only about, the hours you are going to spend on learning and practicing chess. There are so many different factors, actually. So, how often do you play in tournaments, real tournaments? You know, what exact are you actually learning the right way? I mean, do you really try to improve your major weaknesses, get rid of your major weaknesses? Are you aware of your major weaknesses? So there are so many different things. So I don't know if you can reach that level. I mean, it's definitely doable, but kind of so many questions. There are much more questions than answers in this case. Okay, the next game. Sorry, prom night. What? Accept. Come on. Playing with white. So what do we have here? Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, bishop a4. Alright, so this modernized Steinitz, I usually play almost the same stuff. So I play d4 and then really quickly d5. So it's always a good question for me. Should I castle first or immediately play that? Have no idea. Let's try it now. I like to exchange this light squared bishops and then just play sort of version of King's Indian defense without light squared bishops. That's the main idea behind this setup for whites. Everything else is more or less the same. The only difference, it's harder now for black to organize the attack on the king side. Black has fewer resources available. But this attack can be still very annoying, so white should be super accurate, super careful. Which is not possible when you play Blitz, and which is not possible when you are me. So, come on. What is the equivalent of national master in Germany? I have no idea. Really don't know. National master is just 2200s, I think, of American rating. It's enough. 2200s of the national American rating, right? I don't think we have anything like that in Germany. But I was never, ever really curious about that. So maybe there is something. I have no idea. But it's definitely not the common practice everywhere. Okay, so there is a question how to take. If we take with the pawn, there is knight g4, so I'm going to take with the knight first. So if knight takes c4, f takes c4, there is no knight g4 anymore. That's the idea. But black can start with the knight f5, I guess. In which case, my bishop steps back, then knight takes c4, pawn takes c4, knight goes to d4. I mean, probably black is fine already. Yeah, that bishop sucks on g7, but it's not a big problem, I would say, if your knight is somewhere on d4. Maybe then I can take on d4 and play knight f4, knight e6. Interesting. This is something I don't really understand. In this case, we can basically prevent everything and limit opponent's pieces in a very good way, I guess. Let me think. So knight goes to f4, right? So let's just prevent it. That's the thing. Just g3 first. So the idea here for white is just to keep the knight on e4, maybe support it with another knight. This is just a gorgeous piece here, controlling a lot. But the most important thing is just to blockade e5, which blockades the bishop, which makes this bishop super bad. All right. International master and FIDE master are same. No, they're not the same. To become FIDE master, you have to be 2300s of FIDE rating. That's enough to claim the title. For international master, you have to be 100 rating points higher. In other words, stronger. And you have to actually make the norm of international master 3 times in 3 different tournaments or 1 super long tournament and stuff. Come on. International master and FIDE master are the same. Something new to me. All right, g5. So black is completely ignoring light squares. Maybe it's a good strategy for this particular case and for this particular game, but in general, look, almost all black spawns are on on dark squares now, which makes light squares completely weak, which is not correct. Which is not correct here. So in this particular case, maybe it's even fine for me just to wait for black to define the position, because if knight takes e4, okay. Even with the pawn on e4, given that black has weakened so many light squares so heavily and made its own bishop on g7 so bad, I mean, in that case, I don't really need that outpost on e4. I mean, I'm fine with the current situation completely. All right. I'm even fine with giving up that bishop. I don't need it anymore. Would be nice to have the knight against the bishop after all, right? Something like, oh, something like this. This is perfect situation for white. Amazing knight against completely important bishop. Okay, the question is how to convert it. So one option can be to play g4, giving up f4. Who cares? Black doesn't have a knight anymore. And then gradually bring the knight to f5. That's the one thing, but I shouldn't be in a hurry with that plan, I believe. Let's check if black has a current strat. It is probably g4, right? And if f takes g4, queen takes f1. So we have to prevent that first of all. Let's play this move. All right, so now g4 makes perfect sense to me because it basically fixes the weakness on g5, right? My target for the nearest future. Now though, what to do? Queen e4, f takes e4 is not a threat unless my rook is not protected. So queen to g3 comes to mind, or knight to g3 and then bring that knight to f5 or h5. Let's play knight to g3. That's the first stage. The next stage will be probably to blockade the pawn e4 again, pawn e5 again, using e4 square with the rook most likely. Something like knight h5 first, getting rid of the queen, and rook e3, rook e4. And then we will keep on maneuvering. We'll see how to do that. Okay, you're trolling me, right? Okay, let's take the queen. Didn't quite understand that. What's going on here? Playing with the extra queen now. For just one minor piece, come on. It's just a serious blunder. Maybe because of the time trouble, I have no idea, but... My dear lord, that's lost for black. Alright, so... Maybe it was not the end of the world, but I mean, this is exactly what white wanted to have. So this is the perfect situation when you have such a knight, centralized position is almost completely closed. against the bishop, which is limited with on pawns and has no real targets. All right, so try to avoid this pawn structure. Try to think more about light squares. I believe that somewhere where you played knight to h5, instead of doing that, you could have played knight to f5, using the fact that there is no pawn on e4 anymore. I was not sure. I probably wanted to keep that bishop on the board. Then you could have tried something like this, all right? So now, yes, your bishop is bad, but you have a nice compensation. You have a perfect knight on d4. Well, nearly perfect. And whenever I take there, well, your bishop is no longer bad because there are some perspectives now for it. All right, so I wanted to try something like knight f4, bring the knight to e6 in this case. But again, position is not so clear to me. Maybe you can even sacrifice the exchange here and do something like this. Maybe you have good compensation for it. Of course, it should be analyzed additionally, but I think it's much better compared to what happened in the game. All right. So the title says you're Le Fong. So clearly, I am just going to call you Le Fong from now on Chess24. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. So dilatation. Accept the challenge. What was there? There was some sort of tactics we both missed. No. You didn't take my rook on f6 with the knight. What? There was a chance to take your rook on f6 with the knight at some point. Maybe. I was too focused on, you know, blockading your stuff in the center. Of course, I could have said that, okay, I didn't want to give up my perfect knight or something, but come on. I really didn't see that. Right, e4, e5, knight f3. Z Nation says, I was just joking. Well, I was also joking. Come on. I was joking your jokes. So a6, let's try bishop takes c6 in this game. Queen is on d6. Come on, what to play against that? Let's just play d4. Come on, why not? Because in this case, I don't see a big difference compared to the main line, except for the fact that black didn't play f6, but that move is not so bad, actually. So. And now, why not bishop f4? We can also just take the queen here. I mean, what is the right way to play this? Let's just take queen and play against that pawn. But first prevent black's b5 idea, I guess. So now the first idea that comes to mind is just to play knight f4 immediately, but maybe we should do it after bishop g5, exerting some additional pressure. Hard to say. Knight on f4 looks good, so I'm going to put it there simply. If I play bishop f4, then after simple rook d8, I don't know where to put my knight. Okay. Question, is the exchange variation in Spanish better to play than the Berlin, but both are similar? Well, Berlin is defined by black to start with. Roy Lopez exchange variation is something that white defines when captures on c6. So there is no such a question what is better to play. Depends on if you're playing with white or with black, right? So that's the first thing. The second one, they're really similar indeed, in the sense of the pawn structure. So, but they're very different in the sense of dynamics. So they should be learned together to understand the pawn structure better. But I don't think that having knowledge in only one opening line will help you to play the other one. All right, knight to e6 doesn't look good to me. First, we should complete the development, right? So I'm going to play this move first to cover g4 square, then to put my bishop on e3, and then we will see. d5 is controlled, I hope. So d5 just takes, right? Or what's going on? Is it a sacrifice or something? I can take it, I think. I will just take it. e5 or knight e5? A good question. Let's simplify this stuff and play knight takes d5. With white, then you don't have a chance to play the Berlin if your opponent doesn't play knight f6, right after bishop b5. That's what I mean. Berlin is defined by black. And now just c3. All right, so extra pawn. For a long time or not, that's a good question. So now we have bishop e3, then taking on c5, in which case black gets our d5 pawn. We're still a pawn up, but I don't know. Another one is bishop f4, followed by d6. I like that one. Just keeping the passer. Oh, maybe it's just a huge blunder because of... well, no. It's not a blunder yet. Bishop e7, I believe, is not possible simply. But it may become possible at any moment. So, it was not possible because of d7, rook d1, rook d1, rook d1, king f2, and pawn promotes. Because white controls the e-file and king cannot really get closer. So bishop e7 was not possible, and after rook is on d5, I think it's never possible. I know, never say never in this stuff, but 2 extra pawns now, right? Already better than before. We have good chances to win here. I believe we have good chances to win here. Rook to c5, attacking c4. Another vulnerability in black's camp. d4 is covered with the pawn, so there is no bishop d4. In other words, everything is under control. Right? Right. Okay, so what went wrong? Hard to say, but d5 looks like a serious mistake. Just giving up a pawn. Probably you didn't notice that I controlled d5 sufficiently. You could have tried g5 here, though. No, g5, I just take on e6 and take on g5. So maybe something gradually preparing b5, so like rook b8 and then b5, and then maybe b4 was interesting for you. Yeah, something like h6, probably then g5, forcing me to d5 or something, because if I go away there is something like d5. All right, for black, becoming possible. All right, so thanks for the game. Let's have a look. The next is Olaf. Let's accept the challenge. It's really dangerous to play against Olaf, I think. Last time, our game was the one which produced the loss of connection on my end. So the whole, episode, the whole stream was more or less fine, but then I lost the connection at the end, exactly during the game against Olaf. So, have no idea. Bishop g4, queen b3, attacking b7. Queen c8 and then knight e2. Preparing knight to f3. Everything is just like every time when I play against Olaf, it's almost always the same way of developing pieces here. So knight to e5 looks good to me. Let's bring the knight to e5. Let's go. I've never tried d takes c5 here. Let's do it this time. Active Springer says Carlsbad structure with white. Exactly. Exactly. So h7 is under attack now. We'll be happy to see something like g6. h6 is also completely fine. Oh, just giving up that pawn. Come on, let's take it. It's really cool, I believe. And go back quickly. Maybe queen to d3 also deserved attention. I don't know. Missed that. Pretty much happy to have the extra pawn now for nothing. Actually, black doesn't have compensation here, because white doesn't have real weaknesses. So the question, are you accepting under 2,000 rated challenges as well? Moreover, I lose to under 2,000 players, the most recently. So I usually have super comfortable games against 24, 25, 26, 27, 2800s, but for some reason 1500s are actually beating me with nearly perfect chess from time to time. Oh god. Okay, what is more important, this bishop on d3 or my knight on d4 potentially? Very, very good question. Well, you know me, I love bishop cell. Let's prefer the bishop being still on the board, because I believe we will have great attacking chances after f4 really soon. Like this. This bishop is very important in this potential attack, all right? So now, to play f5 or just to take on g5 and play queen to d2, I mean, this looks more consistent with the idea I have in my mind. So the idea is just to use the vulnerability of the king, right? So we should open the position as fast as possible, like this. Queen d2 now, intending to bring the queen to h6. Okay. And here I wanted just to play bishop h4. Is it possible? So bishop h4, rook takes g2, queen h6 is a checkmate, right? Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. So black's position is terrible here, to be honest. Yeah, I'm satisfied. So probably rook g6 is the only move to prevent a queen h. Okay, bishop e7 is also an option, of course. So just taking the rook, right? Because why not? So another comment, you're not Le Fong. Yes, I'm not. That's just a wrong title, guys. That's just a wrong title. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I didn't adjust the title, okay? I'm not the one who's responsible for it. Sorry for that. So queen e7. All right. So what's the D here? What is the plan? Would be nice to get rid of that bishop. But if I play bishop e2, bishop just goes back to g6. Well, it's important for me to get rid of that bishop because without that bishop, it's much easier for me to get to the king. But maybe I'm just overestimating the power of that bishop. Maybe it's just okay for me to play queen g3 and then queen h3. Looks dangerous. So queen g3, bishop h4, queen h3, bishop to g4. I may lose my queen even in that case. But we can try some tricks, I believe. So first we go there. Just want to play queen h3 next, please, right? Rook f6 was probably possible, correct? Chess position. Was probably possible. Rook f6, bishop takes, pawn takes, then the rook is hanging again, but then rook goes to g6, so there is still no direct win, I guess. So I sacrifice the exchange, but then black sacrifices the exchange back, right? So that was the trick I was talking about. So I played queen a3, created sort of a queen h6, and then went back to h3, and now I can play g3, I think, winning the bishop on h4. Am I super stupid blundering something, or it's just exactly what I want? Oh, rook f6 here, by the way, rook f6 here looks fantastic. Yeah, let's play this move because I missed that chance several moves ago, so let's do it now. So bishop f6, queen h5, king g7. I don't know, e takes f6, wins a piece, right? Queen h7, check, king f8. There is no checkmate immediately, but it's a question of not so long time, I guess. So check. I think that's the easiest. Just capture on f6 and rook f1, attacking the queen and f7 at the same time. Ah. So queen h7 check, king f8. Still possible for black to hold for some time. What's the right plan? There are plenty of different options. So let's play queen e5, let's see. And maybe just something like this. Gradually improving my position, and at some point starting pushing my h-pawn to queens, right? Yeah, like this. Extra minor piece means that we shouldn't be against simplifying this stuff. Okay, this time it feels like it went smoothly with Olaf because, you know, I don't think we had the disconnection or something, which is nice. So about this game, I don't think that giving up the pawn on h7 was a wise idea. Instead, I would have played some like g6 or maybe h6. Simply keeping the material on the board, probably g6 would have been my choice. So I was not sure if it gives me anything. All right. So thanks a lot for being with me. That was actually the last game. Hope you learned something. We have talked a lot this time, so which actually affected the results of mine. But as I said many times, I'm not here to win each and every game. I'm here to teach you, to share my experience, and if I managed to make you even a bit better than you were before with the help of this episode, then I'm happy. Wish you all the best. I'm not sure that we're going to see each other before the new year. Well, I will try my best to have the streams next week, but I'm not sure if it is something that makes sense. Well, I will try at least. If not, then wish you all a great time during the holidays, and yeah, see you very soon, I hope. Bye bye.